recent years, well, not so recent anymore, like the April 27th, 2011 outbreak, where every so often we get these large outbreaks, and no matter how we prepare, we are still seeing people being affected. So there are things we can do to mitigate if one of these events were to occur again, but certainly today is something that will remain in history for a while, just because of the sheer number of tornadoes, but also the number of violent tornadoes that were produced during this particular event.
Yeah, I mean, just widespread and just unbelievable. What are your thoughts now if we were talking about a super outbreak that was to happen in today's time? How bad could that impact be in contrast to what happened in 1974?
Well, we have seen some improvements to building codes, better science, better technology, like the Doppler radar network, the updates to that network, better building codes, better education and awareness. The advent of social media has changed how people get their warnings and information. So we would see improvements there, but unfortunately, we also have more people, more things like homes and things that we care about in the path of these, or in the potential path of these tornadoes. So impacts could be 2 times greater given just our societal growth that we've seen over the last 50 years.
Now, we talked about technology and how that's changed a lot in the last 50 years. Obviously, you look at the world around you, things are very different. But let's talk about this in the lens of forecasting, because that's changed as well. How has the science of forecasting changed from 50 years ago?
Well, technology is a huge part of it. We've seen, imagine your first computer you had, your first cell phone. So naturally, as technology has improved, our forecasting has improved. Our ability to run models and detect subtle changes in the atmospheric conditions has allowed us to better predict. We're also getting better at communicating those warnings to people, like via social media or other networks like the NOAA Weather Radios, and making sure people get the warnings. So, and then at the same time, we have more interdisciplinary research that goes on. Like we have social scientists and physical scientists and engineers all working together to try to improve tornado safety. So we've really seen a huge uptick in that since April 27th, 2011. But of course, we don't want these big outbreaks to force our hand to improve as we go along. So things change fast, but we are getting better at this just because of the numerous people working on this problem.
And when we start talking about lessons learned, you always kind of look back on history. What can we have done better? What can we do better as we move forward? What are some of the other lessons that you think we've learned following the super outbreak?
Well, we've learned that taking shelter and having a plan of action is critical. And in other words, when the tornado watch comes out for your region, you're prepared. What are you going to do if a tornado warning is issued for your area? And we have people that are more weather savvy than ever before. If you talk to I'm an instructor, I'm a teacher. If you talk to my students, they all have weather apps on their phones. So they're all very weather aware. And we've learned that how people communicate is as important as these technology increases. How people are actually receiving the warnings and the struggles that they have or the successes that they have to take shelter is a huge difference when it comes to survivability.
Dr. Stephen Strader, thank you so much, an assistant professor at Villanova University. Really interesting conversation because right now, of course, we are in the heart of severe weather season. You heard him reference the 2011 super outbreak, and I was actually a student at the University of Alabama when that happened and the tornado hit Tuscaloosa. And I remember, at that point, I still had a flip phone. Smartphones were around, but I didn't have one yet. And to think about the difference between that time and what we have now is tremendous.
Vast.
50 years has made a huge difference.
Huge. Massive indeed. So plenty of lessons learned, no doubt about it, and a lot of lives, I'm sure, saved between then and now. Well, don't forget our question of the day. We are asking you if